Hello and welcome back. On the last episode we had some unfortunate events take place with our new character Park Sang-gun and at the same time Carlos take, I don't know, yeah, and it has allowed us to see some get a new character, which does not seem to be human. Seems to be an animal. Can't tell if it's a dog or a cat yet, but yeah. So hopefully today is more or is happier. But yeah, so time to find out what we do today. Well, based on that, it's a cat. Soap opera and I didn't read. Soap opera and Tears and Rain. Okay. I was a stray kitten. Daddy called me Spotty. Daddy was like a daddy to me. He was an older homeless cat who had always taken care of me. Ever since he found me, he would always bring me with him wherever he went. He had given me my name too. He had told me it was because of the yellow spots on my tail. Whenever we found some goodies, Daddy would always let me have first bite. He would stroke my head and tell me, "Kiddo, help yourself. You're only 3 months old. You need more food to grow up." I always liked Daddy the best. Today, Daddy was going to take me to a hill to catch some birdies, but it started raining heavily. Daddy said that because of the rain, the birdies wouldn't come out of their sunbath today. So we had to go back to the street like yesterday and look for some goodies to eat. I hope we could find more tasty chicken legs and fish steaks, meow. Unlike in the wild, there are many two-legged animals walking on the street. Daddy told me they're called humans. Because of the humans on the street, the streets was always very crowded, all day and all night. Sometimes when we came to the place where there were lots of humans, a few female humans would excitedly meow at me. What a cutie! And if I let them touch my head with their paws, I could often get some goodies too. But Daddy always warned me to keep my distance from them. Daddy said that humans are not to be trusted. Yeah, I'd say any animal, including cats, are not to be trusted. The street was just across the road. I could see the shop with the fish sign from here. But we had to wait for the light to change. Daddy explained that the traffic laws in Korea were very strict. There's a fine for over 2,000 what? And also, do cats have concepts of money? If we were caught, even if we turned in all of our hidden dried fish treats, it wouldn't be enough. And there were many iron beasts running so fast on the streets. Daddy said those beasts were made by humans and they're called cars. They're very dangerous. We must be careful not to get hit. So we must obey the laws, meow. The light finally turned green. I sprinted a little and went ahead. Daddy followed me slowly. He was a little old and he had been injured before, so he couldn't really see very well. A beast near us suddenly out a huge roar. A beast near us suddenly let out a huge roar of bang, and the smoke came from under it. Cats. Do they have pointy ears and long tails? I mean, a lot of animals do. Yes. See, for example, Will's a dog. And they know how to walk the traffic lights? Yep, yes. They know how to write letters too? Good question. Maybe they can write in their own language. We are gods, so we will always receive the translated version of their letters. That's fascinating. I wonder what the original letter looks like. I would say chicken scratch, but obviously that's chicken, clearly. The beast seemed to have suddenly become shorter, and it was charging directly towards Daddy, screeching and screaming. It was but it was a green light meow. The ground was covered in water and was very slippery. I heard the sound like slip. I looked back and he slipped. I ran over, trying to grab him. The beast ran over Daddy in an instant. So that's why we have to change, I'm assuming. It didn't stop until it was almost at the crossing. A human kid opened the door on the beast and ran towards me and Daddy. Please help, Daddy. I meowed at him for help. But the kid tripped just a few steps away from us. I recognized him. His name was Park Sang-gun. He lived nearby. Okay, then. So Park's connected to Spotty. I often got goodies from him. He was a good kid, and he would help Daddy for sure. I kept meowing louder and louder. A few more humans in white coats followed him from the beast. I thought they were all coming to help me and my Daddy, but they stopped where where Sang-gun fell and pinned him to the ground. While they were trying to drag him away, I saw a dark red scar on the back of his neck. On the back of Park's neck, which would be... Oh, okay, so because I was thinking because Park attacked his father in the previous one with the bottle, but being on the back of Park's neck is interesting. I'd seen people at home beat him. I didn't know he had been hurt so badly. Sang-gun was dragged away by the white-coated humans and thrown inside the beast once again. And then the beast ran away. The whole time nobody even heard me meowing for help. I saw Daddy laying on his own blood. I couldn't recognize him anymore. I cried. Please take Daddy to the hospital, please, someone. The humans walked by, glanced at us and kept walking. It's like they couldn't even see or hear us anymore. Some humans covered their noses, as if they had seen us a dead rat. Well, they saw us a dead cat. They were not like this before. They used to like touching our heads with their paws. Why? Why? Was Daddy right? Were humans really not to be trusted? God, please help Daddy. Spotty. Okay, that's unfortunate, really. Oh, and that. That's sad. The soap opera from... Oh, I forgot your name. But the police officer. I thought the lieutenant would commend me for resolving a crisis on my first day. Instead, I was scolded in front of the entire office as soon as I got back to the scene. From the scene. I was even told to write a discipline report. And it had to be at least 10,000 words long. I had always hated writing. I'd rather they run 100 laps on the field. I feel like running 100 laps is easier than writing 10,000 words because, well, again, the running is just left foot, right foot. Yeah, might get tired and you might not make it the whole 100 way, but you've got to be creative enough to think of 10,000 words. Whereas, again, it's like. It's just left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Eventually, a left turn or a right turn, depending on which direction you're going. Repeat. But yeah. So I decided to simply Google similar reports online without the lieutenant noticing. After lots of copying and pasting and rearranging, I finally completed the 10,000 word report. I felt exhausted afterwards, so I went to the bathroom to wash my face. I could still feel the impact of my... still feel the impact to my organs after falling on the cushion. Fortunately, I was fit enough to endure it. A regular person would probably have to stay in the hospital for a few days. It looked like I looked in the mirror and saw a band-aid on my face. I gave myself a proud smile. I was just getting out of the bathroom when I witnessed something incredible with my own eyes. Lieutenant Kang was holding a folder in front of him. Even though his face was mostly hidden behind it, I could clearly see his expression was from where I was. The cigarette in his mouth was slightly twisted. Some watery stuff was coming from his eyes. They were, without a doubt, tears. Is this really the eccentric dictator that I had been hearing about? And should I leave the room now? Should I? I guess it would just be to leave and act natural, right? Officer Min Jun had left the office a while ago. The lieutenant must have thought I had gone home too. If he saw that I was still in the office right now, would he kill me for seeing all that? I mean, it's not really your fault, is it? I was still struggling with the most difficult decision in the history of mankind when Lieutenant Kang closed the folder. I quickly hid back in the bathroom and didn't come back until I heard him walking out of the office wing. I looked around in the office and realized that I was alone. I couldn't help but start walking closer to Lieutenant Kang's desk, without even realizing it myself. The folder was still on the desk. It was a red folder. It said, Archives of Criminal Investigation Unit 2, on its cover. Unit 2. I heard that a few years ago the entirety of Unit 2 had been killed in a violent incident. Afterwards, Unit 2 became the only unit in the Busan Police Criminal Investigation Department that had a designation but no members. So, it's okay. Some people called it a ghost unit. It definitely sounds like a ghost unit. Due to the severity of the case, no one in the station would talk about it, especially the older officers who had been in the precinct when it happened. Why did Lieutenant Kang care so much about Unit 2? Had he lost some colleagues during the incident? That's what I would believe. Wait, why did I care? It had nothing to do with me. I should just mind my own business. I went back to my seat, created a new document on my computer. Then I typed the title, Unit Transfer Request, but I couldn't think of another word afterwards. My brain was totally blank. It must have been worn out after writing the damned report today. I was straining my brain to figure out what to say next when a big hand slapped my shoulder. Yo, the new guy at Unit 4 is working hard. I wish my people could be half as diligent as you. The voice sounded like as loud as powerful as a booming bullhorn. I almost jumped out of my skin when I suddenly heard it from behind my back. I turned around. It was Lieutenant Kim Jeong Ho from Unit 3. I stood up from my chair and quickly gave him a salute. He waved his hand. Young man, no need to be so formal. Go take a bath and rest in the spa. Don't work too hard. I checked the time. Didn't even realize it was almost 11 p.m. The spa room inside the precinct was even bigger than my apartment. It was incredibly clean. It would be incredible to finish the day with a hot bath. I breathed in the steam, looking forward to a relaxing evening. Then I took off my clothes and stuffed them inside the locker. I closed the locker door and turned around. Lieutenant Kang was right there. He just got undressed. He was in great shape, with lean muscles all over his body. I didn't want to admit it, but when he was not screaming at me, Lieutenant Kang was actually a rather handsome man, despite being a little disheveled. I used to hear a rumor that, despite his peculiar personality, he was still able to keep his position in no small part thanks to the solid support of the female police officers in the Criminal Investigations Unit. That doesn't sound very useful or helpful. I can, fair enough for his skills as a lieutenant, but why would his appearance do anything for him? I guess that made sense. I had already witnessed the female officers from the other units smiling at the lieutenant in the hallway quite a few times on my first day alone. Why didn't anyone smile at me? Speaking of which, not only was Unit 4 a small team, it was also a sausage unit. Really? That's your concern? If only we had an awesome female officer in the unit as well. I had talked to Lieutenant Kang after he yelled at me that afternoon. Yet, now we were standing in front of each other completely naked. This was not awkward at all. Totally not awkward. We got in and out of the hot tub after the spa session and it seemed to last forever. Then we went back to the locker room. We put on our clothes and were about to leave. We never said a word to each other the whole time. So I was hoping we could relieve some of the tension between us. May I write a letter to him? Why? I want to ask for a picture of his boss next time. Really? Really, Myth? That's disappointing, really. You're a god for one. Yeah, same reaction, Will. I suppose I was too naive. piece of soap appeared out of nowhere and stopped near us. He reached out. I was taking my clothes out of the locker when I heard a noise. I turned around and saw what just happened. My eyes involuntarily looked down. I looked back at myself. Then I looked at the lieutenant again. This time, our eyes met. And I could see something menacing in his eyes. Oh my god. I didn't do it on purpose. And I didn't see anything. Really? Okay. So, we have a cat who's actually dealing with something, someone important in their life being injured. And then we have bath scene. Okay, the game knows how to pair up crisis with a funny moment, quote unquote funny moment. Okay, fine, I actually did see something. But I really didn't mean to. I was so screwed. Even if my request of transfer was approved, I wouldn't be able to get it out tomorrow. Maybe tonight. The lieutenant would just kill me. Please, Butter. Please tell me, what should I do? What exactly did he see? We're not answering that question. I have no idea. Good answer. Chang's Geong Min. Okay, and this is what we're dealing with. Okay. Sure, why not? Have Lieutenant fall over, saves the cat, right? Lieutenant Kang rolled his eyes and, stood back up by himself. He'd gone dressed and left the locker room. I froze and stood there like a statue. If only I'd reached out and grabbed him sooner. No. I should have gone and picked up that soap. Oh boy. Was my career over? The beast slipped in the water and turned on its side suddenly. Like it was drunk. Daddy jumped ahead just in time and the beast missed him, luckily. But the beast had run into the rails not too far ahead and finally stopped on the grass. Soon a human walked out of the beast. He seemed to be okay, just started yelling and while checking the beast around the beast's feet. I looked at the beast. Its body had some words on it and I couldn't read it. But it had this, I had seen the sign next to it. I was going hunting. I used to go hunting birdies with Daddy in a place far away. It was deep inside the mountains. But on top of the hill, there was a building with that smells like drugs. Daddy told me it was a hospital. So it was an ambulance. Okay, so that's what the car was. And it at the same sign as the one on the beast. I remember thinking that the hospital looked like a little strange. The humans inside didn't look hurt at all to me, but none of them would smile. Some of them would burst into laughter or tears all of a sudden. They all looked a little strange, not like the humans we met in the city. Humans were so strange. Oh, so that's okay. So that's nice. Save the cat already. Do you need that? If I like say, yeah. There we go. Because then you both mend and trying to work together, right? I pulled Lieutenant Kang up from the floor. Well, should I say something? Did it that hurt Lieutenant Kang? That sounded didn't sound appropriate. I was still thinking when Lieutenant Kang swept my hand away. He mumbled something and then turned back to his locker and got dressed as if nothing ever had happened. I went back to my locker in silence too. What did the lieutenant just say? I could see his face was all red, maybe because of the heat. Perhaps it was just saying something like, crap, this is so hot in here. Must be it. Oh, that's an A, that's better. Okay, oh, we should do, what if we do that then? Rotate it around. I grabbed Lieutenant Kang and tried to pull him up, but I slipped and fell too. We had to go back to the hot tub and take another bath to clean ourselves. The water was still warm, but I had already gotten used to the temperature after the first time. Lieutenant Kang wrapped a towel around his neck. He didn't close his eyes this time though. He just seemed to be staring blankly ahead. It was just the two of us in the spa room. It was so quiet again. Nothing else was in the air except the steam from the water and the awkwardness. Maybe it was my imagination, but Lieutenant Kang almost looked like a normal, accessible person for a while. I was almost going to ask him something, but eventually I decided to let it go. It was already after work. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. That's your rest? Your rest is to just take a second bath? Okay, well, nice. Still got time left. Who's next?
Carlos, te
From
extraño.
Alicia, a little lamb Billy.
부처님, 나도 좀 도와줘요.
Okay, and more from Chang. Okay, and he's still tired. The cargo shorts and the beach shirt. Cool. I'd been signed here for a week. For the past few days, For the past few days, I'd been trying to find an opportunity to write my transfer application and submit it to Lieutenant Kang. Yet every time I sat down and tried to fill out the form, Lieutenant Kang would throw up a bunch of paperwork at me and make me fill them. It was almost like he knew what I was up to. None of it made any sense at all. As a police officer, shouldn't I be patrolling the city to stop crimes and helping people with everything I had? Even be ready to sacrifice myself for justice at a moment's notice? But this was so boring. Thank God I could still sometimes chat with Officer Min Jun, a more senior officer in Unit 4, or I would have exploded from boredom by now. Usually at this point, Min Jun would say, "I'll lend you a grenade then." Min Jun liked making these kind of morbid firearm jokes, although I rarely found it funny. He's the sniper, right? He is the sniper, right? There we go, got it right. Life sucked. I poured myself another glass and chugged it. A glass of what? I was at a bar called Crash. Oh, so he's after work, okay. Where I would always come whenever I was feeling down. Every day after midnight, the bar would turn into a carnival. Cool, nice. But around sunset, the atmosphere was actually really nice. And it was the best time to come here and drink alone. I'm just reading the numbers in the corner for some reason. I was sitting in the window and staring at the street blankly. Some words from the conversation at the next table suddenly caught my attention. A bald man in a Hawaiian shirt raised his bottle and said, "Bro, have you heard about what happened to the group gunman a few days ago?" His buddy was also wearing a beach shorts and sporting a most ridiculous hairstyle and laughed. Of course. It's been heard all over our group, Yesung. It was really brutal of them to blow off half of the head of Cho Johan's son. Okay, so this is referring to Kang's work, right? Only Kang Baek has the guts to do that. My ears perked up when I heard the Lieutenant Kang's name out of the blue like that. The old man continued. I think it was pretty rad. The guy was always so annoying. He would come on our turf all the time looking for trouble just because his good old dad. The crazy-haired guy interrupted him. "Shut up, you idiot. Don't let anyone hear you say that. You're going to get the Boss Joe into trouble." The bald man immediately concurred. "Oh, sure. By the way, I also heard that Chow Johan is setting up a trap for Kang back here. It's going to be epic." The crazy head guy sounded surprised. "Hey, watch it. Don't get so close to me." "Wait, what do you mean by setting up a trap?" The bald man explains. "I heard that they had something on Kang Baekye's, and all they'll use it for is to force him to turn himself over." Is he linked to Unit 2? You can guess what they're going to do with him next. I think it's supposed to be going down tonight, over at the warehouse by the port. The crazy guy didn't seem like he was buying it. "You really think that would work?" Kang was tough enough to take out a whole team on his own. The bald man got excited. "Well, we'll find out apparently. They prepared barrels and concrete. And I've heard something about some other big surprise. Anyway, no matter which side loses, Boss Joe will be happy either way." Okay, so they're paying us against each other, right? I bet he's looking forward to this day for a long time. I sobered up completely and I quickly checked my cell phone. It was 9 p.m. Now I thought about it. Lieutenant Kang had gotten a delivery earlier today and he had left the office soon afterwards. Did the delivery have anything to do with the trap? I knew I didn't quite get along with the Lieutenant Kang, but you are co-workers. But no matter what, he was on the side of justice. Yeah, you may not get along, but you are on the same team. Now that I knew he was in danger, there was no way I could just sit aside and let it happen. Sneaked into the bathroom and immediately called the lieutenant. Nobody picked up. Then I called the police station. Somebody told me that nobody from Unit 4 was available. I had a really bad feeling. If I didn't get in touch with the lieutenant as soon as possible, the door opened up and a person walked in. My reaction had been slowed down because of the alcohol. The young man who had just come out of the stall grabbed me by the hair and slammed me into the mirror above the sink. Clink. The mirror smashed, and there's broke glass all over the ground. Just before I passed out, I heard someone say, "You dirty cop, are you trying to snitch on our own turf? Screw you." When I woke up, I found myself in a big, empty warehouse. The gate was locked from the outside. I could see that the evening stars through the window above the wall. Oh man, how long was I out for? Was Lieutenant Kang already at the port? Shanghai. Okay, and so we just don't get caught. Okay, Hong Kong was a strange city. It was quite small, but it felt like such a big city. While it was busy and rich, and there were also many poor people, including numerous homeless people wandering the streets. I'd hoped to go to America, but I ended up being kidnapped and brought to Hong Kong. Didn't have any money on me. I didn't know if I could even survive here, not to mention go to America. I began to look at the hiring flyers on the wall. Teamster, engineers, masseurs. I was thinking, if Alicia's like in the past, right? Does that mean we exist outside of time? Like, does we as in Will and Myth? Because, yeah, because Carlos is looking for Alicia 2 years after she had gone. But obviously Alicia's letters are saying that, oh, I've been kidnapped. So I'm thinking that we exist outside of time and we're just finding these letters and just rearranging them randomly. But I don't know why that means. But then again, like, why does the timeline have different things? Also, why does Jimmy have 2 different timelines? A lot of places were hiring. I didn't know how to do any of the jobs. One day, I saw that the Light Club was looking for a pub singer. The club was called Melody Hall. That's a nice name. It's sat in the middle of the most popular location on Portland Street of Mong Kok. The club was huge, and all the guests were dressed like royalty. Everyone came in to audition for the job was sitting in the lobby, waiting for their turn. Several middle-aged men were sitting below the stage, looking terribly bored. Oh, we finally get an image of Alicia. That's nice. It does look good. I chose to sing one of my favourite songs when it was my turn. It was a folk song from my hometown. It's called Little Lamb Billy. After my parents passed away, my brother and I soon sent to an orphanage. For a long time afterwards, Carlos seemed to have shut down entirely. He would sit there for an entire day without saying a single word. He was only 3. There was nothing near the orphanage but hills and mountains. I liked to take him hiking and would talk to him on top of the mountains or sing to him. We would stay there for a whole day sometimes. However, he still wasn't talking. One day when I was singing, I suddenly thought to myself, was this going to last forever? Would Carlos never talk to me again? I had to stop the song. I couldn't stop myself from thinking depressing thoughts, and I cried. Why are you crying, Alicia? Carlos was pulling my arm, and I saw him looking at me with his eyes clear. Sorry. And I saw him looking at me with his clear eyes. That day, he had finally returned to me. The song I had been singing that day was Little Lamb Billy. I stood in front of the elevator. I was thinking about the song that I had sung. about the song I just sang and the days we had lived in the orphanage. I couldn't help but hum the song again. I felt a sudden tap on my shoulder. It was one of the men sitting below the stage earlier. "Miss, this is something you should know." His eyes were almost shut as he smiled at me. "It's quite a hassle to hire a foreigner like you who has no papers. You won't be able to find another job in all of Hong Kong. However, I think you are really terrific. I would love to hire you as long as you..." As he was speaking, his hands moved down my shoulders along my back, and it kept moving even further. I was taken aback and tried to move away, and he grabbed my wrist. I had never been in a situation like this my entire life. I was horrified. I tried to shake his hand off with my strength. I scratched his face with my nails and leaving a red mark. He felt his face with his hands when I was running away. I mean, you people. What do you mean, you people? Go. No. I ran into a small alley and hid behind the dumpster. After what seemed like an eternity, I could no longer hear people who were running after me. I fell to the ground, felt violated and ashamed. Tears were rushing down my eyes, as if all my suffering had come back to haunt me. "Carlos, I miss you so much. Alicia." At least she got away without having to do what they were implying. Okay, well, if we just swap them around then. It seems... Okay, I turned around. It was Officer Min Jun. "Thank God you're here, sir." Min Jun seemed shocked after I told him about what has happened, what I just heard outside. The fact that he's there, I don't trust it. I feel like Min Jun is going to end up being a traitor. He said the lieutenant might still be in his own place. It wasn't too far from here. We should hurry and see if we can catch him in time. With Min Jun leading the way, we were running as fast as we could towards Lieutenant Kang's home. Just we came across a small dark alley without any lights. Min Jun seemed to be out of breath, and he slowed down. He pointed to this two-story apartment building not too far in front of us and told me that that's the lieutenant's building. I decided to keep going ahead. Before I could run more than a few steps, I suddenly felt a sharp pain in the back of my head. I felt dizzy and I lost balance. I couldn't even see the road anymore. I fell to the ground and blacked out. When I woke up, it was almost daylight. Officer Min Jun was lying next to me. Neither of us seemed to have our wallets. Oh man, how could this happen? Was Lieutenant Kang already... So that's a bad end. Someone unusually tall had walked out of the elevator wearing an even more unusual ensemble. A pair of red high heels, a pair of tight black leather pants, a lavish fur coat. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. I walked past this person in the elevator and pressed the button on the first floor. The person kept walking into the lobby. Oh, okay, both A. Sure, why not? It was one of the men who had been sitting down the stage earlier. "Miss, there's something you should know." Okay, it's quite Hazel. Hi, you. Yep, job Hong Kong. No. Yep. Skipping this. Looked at the lobby, but I could no longer see the person who had just came out in the elevator. No one could help me now. I was taken aback and tried to move away, but he grabbed my wrist. I've never been in my situation in my entire life. Yeah, so, okay, so what if I swapping them around, maybe? Because, yeah. Because apparently the person was no longer there. I checked the time again, it was 9:30. It wasn't safe to go straight to the port, as I didn't know how many people the enemy had. I hadn't received any weapons yet. As much as this was my first week, it wouldn't be terribly useful for me personally. But it was still better than nothing. I should at least go back to the station and check out a gun. Perhaps I could even find some backup. I hope I can make it in time. I left the bar. A cold breeze blew over my face. I shuddered and felt myself sobering up a little more. I hailed a cab. I kept urging the driver to speed up. In the end, it took me 30 minutes to arrive rather than the usual 60. Okay, so it's 10 p.m. We know that. And as soon as I opened the door, I threw up all over the ground. The old driver looked at me emotionlessly, and I handed him the bill and a napkin. And handed me the bill and the napkin. Fair enough. I just ran through 3 red lights for you. I'll give you a discount for being a police officer. Okay, so that's right. Yeah, then we just swap these two around then. There we go. Miss, there's something you should know. One of the men had been saying, okay. His eyes were almost shut as he smiled. It's quite a hassle to yeah, same as before. Can we not? Let's not, try to move away, grab my wrist. Nails on the left red mark. He's calling you. Hey. I'm assuming it's Rose. Hey, that was embarrassing. Someone who had just got out of the elevator stood in front of me. A pair of red high heels, a pair of black leather pants, and a lavish fur coat. If it wasn't for the voice, no one would have guessed it was a man wearing them if I saw them from beforehand. But from behind, sorry. Beforehand? Yeah. For the manager of Melody Hall to dare do something like that in public, what would your boss say if he had heard about this? Fine, just not my lucky day then. The manager shot me a stern look, turned around and walked back to the lobby. The cross-dressing man turned to me, smiling wildly. Hello, pretty little girl. Would you like to go get a drink and eat at my place? Well, whoever they are, hopefully they are a nice person. But yeah, at least that worked out a bit. Cough, 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 cough. Deep breath. You asked me how deeply I love you. What on earth are you doing? I'm singing. Ah, didn't know you could. I didn't know you sing. What's the name of the song? The moon represents my heart. How did you still know the song? I thought I had. You thought you had what? So we do have amnesia, but it's Will's fault. Okay. What are you mumbling about? I mean, of course, the song, yes. Everyone in China knows the song. Why are you suddenly in the mood to sing? When I read Alicia's story about singing, all of a sudden a lot of music just popped into my head out of nowhere. So I was thinking, maybe I was a singer before I died. Before you died? I heard stories that how some people become gods when they die with unfulfilled wishes. Either that, ghosts, or demons. That must be why I know these songs, right? Aren't those usually ghost stories, not god stories? Yep, we're all on the same page. But thanks to Will's mumbling, we know that we were right to not trust him at the very start. Although if that had been the case, wouldn't my powers have something to do with singing? What do you mean? For example, what if my singing has healing powers? Or maybe my song can bring peace to people at war. If that's the case, why are you isolated without people ever? You're around alone. How imaginative. We've been alive for a long time. There's nothing strange about us knowing some songs. Gods are supposed to know everything. If it weren't for your memory loss, I'm sure you would remember even more. Well, that makes sense. I guess I was never a singer. Now I feel sad. I didn't know you wanted to be a singer so much. Look, I made you some osmanthus cake. Wow. Nothing's more powerful than sweets. Enjoy the cake. Remember to do your work after you finish your snack. I'll see you later. Wait, I haven't heard you sing yet. Before you go, sing me something. Sternly, I will not. Mumbles with mouse stuff. So I'm assuming this is supposed to be narrations, not thoughts. You're my servant. You cannot say no to my request. No. As your servant, it's my duty to supervise your work, and saying no to you is one of my rights. Yeah, that's fair. Well then, what if I serve you some tea? I made the tea. How about I wash your feet? I just washed them myself. Well, would you like me to comb your hair? What is this? What is this sprite? What would you like you here? Name it. Your face almost looks twisted. Well, let me think. Sweet as honey, why not? All these songs that Teresa Teng. Why would you pick something? These are all songs of. Hold on. How do you know what the choices were? Why wouldn't you pick something more exciting and more hardcore? To be fair, you've liked music ever since you were little. Since I was little? Oh no, I mean, you must have liked the music. Anyway, I happen to know this one. Listen up, I'm going to sing now. As sweet as honey. As well as sweet as honey. Just like how the flowers bloom in the spring breeze. And no, I'm not singing them. Your smile is so familiar to me, but I can remember from can't remember from where. Oh, it's from my dreams. What do you think? I've been curious. Why is that the only sound we make when we talk? A single beep. Even the tone is always the same. Now we're getting meta, really? Okay. Okay. I wasn't expecting it to go this way. Even when we're singing, it's nothing more than just the same rhythmic beep. You're only now noticing that? Well, we are gods after all, not humans. We have our own unique qualities. We should focus on them. Speaking of which, how's work been recently? Oh, it's been pretty well. My only complaint is that there's so many letters. I've been pulling a lot of all-nighters to finish them. You don't have to work that hard. We're not on the same timeline as the humans. Okay, see, so yeah, we can just plug them up for any time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to them, which when we handle letters. The most important thing is being a god is enjoy yourself. That's okay. I'm enjoying myself. It feels so great to be able to help people. I'm really happy. Okay then, as long as you're happy. Oh, by the way, haven't you forgotten about something important? What important thing? Combing your hair, okay. Ah, there are new leathers. I need to start working. I knew it. So the only person we have not seen yet is Park. Yeah, okay then. I think with that, we'll leave it there. So, thank you for stopping by. Hopefully I can see you on the next one. With that, goodbye.